Uh, Hello and welcome. This is Secret Agent Agency. I am Kevin, and joining me is the disembodied voice of Jihun.
Are we alive?
Maybe. And also, Andrew is here.
Sure.
And
part again?
yeah, so I had a little snag with saving in this game, but I pulled up somebody's backup save, and I decided, in lieu of being any later going live, we were just going to replay this bathroom scene. But we already saw this last time. I'm not on active window. Now I am. Cool. So we're just looking around the bathroom.
Are you ready to shoot your heart out?
Oh yeah.
Sega CD, right?
Yep.
What happened to your beard?
Oh, it's all gone.
Go away.
Where did it go?
Did you feed it to your cats?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I gotta be that one crazy dude in the stream, man. Gotta keep this stream interesting, right?
I like your lines, man. It's like uncontrolled.
Thank you. I made my hair extra big to compensate.
Okay.
Oh, so you customize your hair, okay. But for real though, how did you shave? Like, did you do it the barbarian way? Like, you just grab a big knife and cut the big chunk of it? Or...
God, no. Okay. So what I do is I go outside with a beard trimmer on like the highest setting. Like, so like as long as it can be, and I just like go like all around until like it's mostly gone, and then I finish up and do detail work in the bathroom sink.
Cause I never seen a guy with like yours, like really really long beard, like when they decide to cut it off. Like, how did they do it? What did they just use a scissor or what?
I have used scissors before. When I go to like a barber, they usually use scissors on my beard.
There's no mistake. Freddie Nielsen is a snatcher. Gillian, with this much evidence, there will be
a
no
reason for
difficulty
that
getting a
is
scanning warrant.
We've got you now.
If you
Snatcher
use
scum.
clippers like electric
So,
razor or
you
whatever,
figured it out, huh?
you're more likely to cause
that?
split ends later down the road. Whereas scissors are more of like a clean cut because they
Know all
pinch at
about us,
first.
do you, junker?
That wound.
John did that to her.
Ooh, this scene is still scary.
Die, junker!
What?
Die.
What happened to my controls?
Yeah, I was about to mention where's your.
Oh wait, I use A to. Damn it. Okay. I forgot it's A to pull out my gun. God damn it.
Game over.
Death
Yeah, the
Runner.
classic.
Oh, cool. Okay. Hey, pull. Oh, wait. Okay, there's one. I forgot what my controls were.
I mean, it's been like what, 3 weeks since we played this game?
I think it's actually been longer. I think it's been a good 4. So this series of streams was Snatcher as a Christmas game.
Those things don't go down easy.
And the idea was we
This
were
is
gonna
a
play
Snatcher.
more with like Christmas like
certainly hope it's
nestled in
dead.
there, but yeah, holiday planning is real. A lot of shit went down. I mean, like, I always kind of have a little bit of a downward spiral during the holidays. And I thought like, oh, if I plan a whole bunch of stuff, maybe it won't affect, like, if I keep busy, it won't affect me, but
Freddy.
it didn't end up going according
So
to plan.
where's he?
We can contact the
Let's
junk
see.
collection team later. Let's get out of this apartment for now.
Trying to avoid talking while they're talking. But there were like a
We're
couple
outside now.
celebrity deaths that really affected me, and that's usually not the case with me, but like,
What the? A light just came on. There's not
There's-
supposed to be anybody in there.
Perhaps Freddy has returned.
there's too
There's
much
only
talking.
one entrance, and we're standing right next to it. How did he get in there?
Shall we investigate?
Okay, so I don't know. So there were a couple of celebrity deaths that kind of messed me up. One of them was a wrestler who most recently went by the name of Brody Lee, but he was in WWE as Luke Harper. And I don't know. There's a whole story about that. I don't know if you guys want me to get into, but like I kind of related to him in some way because like I felt like he was kind of being misused by his company, and then he basically it was like this very public fallout with his previous company WWE, and then he moved to AEW and had like a whole lot of success, and unfortunately he passed away before he could kind of perform in front of a live audience again, which is, you know, really disappointing. So that affected me a whole lot. And then there was the death of MF Doom, who's one of the best rappers to ever exist. Like, there's one video in particular on the internet that's it basically goes over
lock code found. Now opening the door.
Like the history of rap over time and how rhyme schemes like changed and different kinds of rhymes. I forget who exactly does it, but basically it just becomes an MF Doom documentary like halfway through.
Oh, really?
Pretty much. Like just like I don't know, he's just very talented. He has a whole album that's just food metaphors. Like it's just like, I don't know, 45 minutes of just food. And I don't know, like he has a collection of instrumental beats. It's like 10 records of just nothing but like kind of the lo-fi hip-hop beats, and I used to listen to those while I was like studying and typing essays and stuff in college. And yeah, it just kind of, you know, so those two kind of hurt. And then the whole Capitol thing happened.
You're gonna avoid this subject totally.
Well, I mean, it's a major thing that happened. Yeah, so that's why it's been a while.
So since you brought that up, I'm not gonna go deep into it, but it's a sidetrack question. What's your opinion about streamers in general talking about politics and whatnot?
I don't want politics in our streams.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opinion that if I want to hear about politics, I will look up politics. If I want to watch video games, then I will watch somebody play video games, right?
That's what
the two are very separate for me. You know?
Something like, I agree with you, and I'm not necessarily arguing, but yeah, it is like, yeah, I'm watching this gamer.
The bathtub is empty.
Whatever,
that thing was filled with water just a few minutes ago.
Around the world, and yet, I understand at the same time, it's not a subject we should just ignore. It's kind of like,
where is he?
Draw the line, but yeah. Generally speaking, yeah, I don't want to listen to that kind of stuff when I'm watching stream to chill. What?
Love that scene. There's nothing you can do.
Oh, okay.
That was close. You're lucky I was here to save your skin.
God, I love this guy's voice actor.
Me? Random Hajil, bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter?
Yes, Gillian, a bounty hunter. As the junker profession is so dangerous, their numbers have fallen dramatically over the past few years. As a result, the government decided to put a price on Snatcher's heads in order to encourage private citizens to cooperate in the effort to track them down. Naturally, these bounty hunters must register with the authorities.
You said your name's Random, right? What did you do? Follow me here?
Yeah, you got it. Investigations aren't my style. You track them down, I take them out.
You have the legal obligation to state your bounty hunter registration number. Please do so now, immediately.
BH75001 Random Hajile. That's RANDOMHAJILE.
BH75001 Random Hajile. That's confirmed. I officially recognize you as a legal bounty hunter. Wow. Gillian, records indicate that he has already disposed of 3 snatchers just this month. Counting Freddy, that makes 4.
4?
I've been at this a lot longer than you have. Just relax, rookie. So, Junker Boy, let me give you a little tip. You might already know, but Snatcher's weak point is their artificial skin. If they sit out in the sun too long, they get cancer. That's why they set up a hospital to treat this little problem of theirs. You find it, you can take them out, roots and all.
Where did you get all your information? Wait a sec. You stole it from Gibson, didn't you?
That's not really important. But now that Gibson's out of the picture, I need you to get busy.
I track him down and you junk him. Is that the idea?
Anyhow, it seems Gibson found that hospital. He must have left behind some information about it.
What do you mean, seems? Don't you know anything about it?
Hey, investigations are your job, right?
I owe you one, Random.
Yeah, I'll get it out of you later. See ya, Junker Boy.
I just want one good forget about it from
A Snatcher-controlled hospital, eh? There's bound to be more than a few of them in there.
All right, now we are officially where we left off. I don't know what happened to the save file, but I'm glad I
Save again.
got one off the internet.
I guess it wasn't saving at all.
Oh, I just look up the guy who voiced Ransom.
Random.
This is it. This is the only game he ever voiced.
Oh my god.
Yeah, his name doesn't appear ever again.
Maybe he changed his name.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. Maybe just, but Konami actually give you
Or he was
Fake
under his
credit.
pseudonym.
maybe it's his fake name.
Okay, let's try to
Names
sort
have
all this
pseudonym
out.
things.
Metal
Persona,
Gear, would you
how about
mind
Persona
helping
or
out?
Persona 4?
Not at all. Now projecting recorded video images.
Gibson calls in and you two immediately head for the abandoned factory in the M District. But when you arrived, Gibson had already been killed by someone or something at the factory. From hair and skin samples recovered from his body, you determined that the perpetrators were 2 snatchers, one male and one female. In addition, from a floppy disk containing notes from Gibson's investigation, you discovered that snatchers have a crucial defect. Gibson was apparently killed because he had learned about this weak point. And this weak point is a key difference between them and real humans. Their artificial skin cannot tolerate ultraviolet rays. Long-term exposure causes it to become cancerous, a form of melanoma. This severely limits the places and times that they can operate to midwinter, when daylight hours are their shortest, and of course at night. And it looks as if it will take at least 6 months for them to develop a new skin which overcomes this fault. So their biggest weak point was that they had to keep themselves protected from ultraviolet rays over the past 6 months. Gibson really put his earlier training as a science cop to good use in figuring this one out. And that's why they use plenty of sunscreen, even in the middle of the winter. As a result of this, it becomes clear that there is one thing they must have to continue their survival. And that is medical facilities, where they can treat artificial skin which has become cancerous. And it appears that Gibson may have located a hospital used for this very purpose. In an effort to determine where Gibson had been investigating, you analyzed his stomach contents, found buffalo meat, and headed to the only place in the city that serves it, Outer Heaven. Isabella Velvet, a dancer at this place, gives you a description, which allows you to put together a montage of the man Gibson was trying to track down. You then ran this montage through the city's databank using Jordan. And that gave you 2 suspects, Ivan Rodriguez and Freddie Nielsen. But from the condition of Ivan's skin, you determined that there was no possibility he could be a snatcher. There was no evidence at all of melanoma. But as he was in possession of liquid sky, you turned him over to narcotics. Following that, a search of Freddie Nielsen's home turned up large quantities of sunscreen. Nielsen's wife, Lisa Nielsen, turns out to be a snatcher, and you dispose of her. And you confirm that the skin cells found under Gibson's nails were from Lisa. Freddie Nielsen also turns out to be a snatcher, and you dispose of him as well. The hair sample that was found in Gibson's hand is confirmed as being from Freddie. So you are able to determine that these 2 snatchers, Freddie and Lisa, were the ones who killed Gibson. But then we have a problem. The bounty hunter who saved you, Seed, Random Hajil. An investigation uncovers that the information he provided when he filled out his bounty hunter registration was completely false. So who is this guy? Friend or foe?
What about the bank account he was having his bounty deposited into?
It was a common account used for paying bounty, and the funds were retransferred from there. We couldn't learn anything from it. Thank you, Metal. And now for the real fun. The hospital that Gibson had tracked down. If we can hit that, we may be able to shut down this snatch operation of theirs. Or if we can find some kind of patient records there, we may be able to find them quite easily.
So, Little John's memory might provide us with an important lead.
That's right. If we're lucky, there may be something left that we can work with. Navigators record everything their junkers do, just in case.
Just in case, huh? Well, this looks like one of those cases.
Harry should have recovered it by now. Go see how he's doing. Seed, I'm counting on you to find this hospital.
Okay, hi. I did enjoy the footage of me getting choked out while he was telling me how great of a job I was doing.
Oh, I was starting to say earlier, Jihun, Naoto's voice actress in the English Persona 4 was unknown for like the longest time.
Oh, really?
I think it only recently revealed who she was. I think also Naoto's been voice acted differently in every appearance of Naoto.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny because Naoto's Japanese counterpart, was like, she's like well known. That's kind of interesting how that turned out.
Yeah, I think it's a different Naoto and Chiaki
Yeah.
in Persona 4 Golden. I was blanking on her name for a second.
About time you got here, Gillian. I've got Little John's memory all ready for you.
Okay.
Well, were you able to get anything from it?
Just relax. I'll put it on the monitor for you now. I'm afraid it was almost completely destroyed beyond recovery. Those snatchers, they sure do a thorough job.
What do you mean? Wasn't there anything left?
Like I said, just relax. I was able to get one video image out of it. I don't have the slightest what this is, but it's definitely got something to do with Jean's investigation. This is it. So, Gillian, do you have any idea what this is?
Hospital Olean? This is almost certainly the Snatcher-controlled hospital that Gibson was looking for.
You ought to run the name through Jordan, but if that hospital is not legit, the data won't mean anything. This city is packed with unregistered hospitals.
The sign in this picture looks curved. This word Olean might continue past the edge of the image.
I've stored this image. You can view it at any time. Just use the graphic memory command in the possessions menu.
Wow. Talk about my feelings.
can save image? So high tech.
Whenever you need help, Kevin, just let me know.
Yeah, I remembered this part.
Okay.
I wonder if knowing this allows me to skip anything.
Remember in
you still
part
have to
one,
do it,
you
like,
could
in the
follow
order,
a dude like ahead of before you're supposed to know about it, and there's like a little Easter egg.
So until next cutscene pops out, Andrew, I have some serious question for Persona games.
Lay it on me.
So when you play games like Persona, do you play without anything, without any walkthrough or tips at all, or you just go blind?
First time through. When I play it again, no, I use a guide.
Okay.
Like Persona 3 OG, I played completely in Japanese with just like a spreadsheet, so I sort of knew what moves were what, kind of. And then used the guide from that point forward. Same with 4 and 5.
Yeah,
Except for the Japanese part. Those were in English.
yeah. So I played the 4 and in the 5 right now, and I just cannot play this game without a guide. Like I'm so scared of messing up. Yeah, I guess it's a personality issue, but.
There's nothing wrong with that. Single player game, play your way.
Yeah, that's up to like play whatever you want. That's and if I'm having enjoy up, if I still have fun while reading walkthrough, let it be. That's what I thought too.
I gotta revisit Golden. I made it to whatever Adachi's dungeon is. I forgot the name.
Like, I get to Inaba, yeah.
Yeah, Magatsu Inaba. I made it right to that, and I think I may have found out that those weapons I was getting from killing the Reaper don't transfer. I just dropped it. And you reminded me about that. You asked me that. I'm like, I think they transfer. And like, oh, no. Oh, screw me.
I was actually about to drop the whole achievement hunting until I want to try to fight against Elizabeth. So I try, and now I'm missing only one of the most possibly the hardest achievement of all time. Hardcore reset.
So that's not too bad. You just gotta have like every character get status affected.
Yeah.
And she'll have a comment for every character status effect. And that's a shit ton of them. I don't think I have that one. What am I missing?
I think you didn't beat Elizabeth.
Oh, you can't do that until New Game Plus. So I'm missing.
Oh, you didn't complete the compendium, yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten Hardcore Reset. What's some of these random ass ones? Catch the Sea Guardian. Oh yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't do that one. That's like.
No, I have that one. I'm looking at what I have. These that are rare. I don't know if they are. All the ones that are just play the game, and it's like funny seeing everyone who owns it. It's like 10% of players beat Chapter 1. I'm like, wow, that's sad. That's like 10, 10, 2, Kevin. I mentioned before, like 10, all the achievements in that, like a shit ton of them. But like for 10, 2,
yeah, there's so many people who just like start up a game, and like because the first time you start up a game, that's when it logs you as like being part of the people who can receive achievements on Steam, I think. And so
it's really sad here.
Yeah, so like I think Skyrim might have a achievement for like creating your first character or like something like that, or getting out of like that first location. And
there it is.
It's something like 10% of the people.
Here's a sad percentage for Final Fantasy X 10-2 on Steam. Machine of War defeat Magnagun, aka beat the game. 2.9% of players.
Oh Jesus!
So not less than 3% of players even beat 10-2.
Alright, I don't have my old notes. Andrew, what's the revolution? I know the other one's rain.
It's is ended.
Okay. Thank you.
I got the guide up if you ever need it. Talk about mod stuff before, and Persona 3, 4, 5 games, I don't think I'd ever want to play like a big mod for those. Like there's a
randomizer mod for P5. I just thought I'd let you know about it.
I don't like the calendar system in those games.
Also,
I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
I wouldn't know.
But I like just like how those games are you play day to day.
right.
This gets kind of repetitive. I like despite never beating them, I did enjoy Persona 2 Eternal Punishment and Innocence in and like those still have like solid character moments between all of the cast members. Like I feel like you lose a lot of that by shoving those into like optional social things. Like Persona 3, 4, 5. Like 3 doesn't have that issue because all the characters still have like their pivotal story moments where they evolve their persona that's in the story. But
I just realized using this save file means that we've undone the damage that was dealt from me gorging myself on buffalo meat and martinis or whatever.
Oh, well, there had been like a little scene there.
Oh, last time we played, people were like yelling at me, like, "How dare you use the company's card for this?" and all that. Like Mika was like, "Ew, you smell like alcohol."
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've cleaned up your act.
Yeah.
New year, new you.
That's right.
They're magic. I think
honestly, in 2021, I've never wanted to gorge myself on buffalo meat and alcohol more.
That's your New Year resolution.
Getting better of myself this year.
Yeah, I'd really treat myself. Oh, it's time. So we're about to see the thumbnail image for the YouTube version of this.
And New Year, because it has a Christmas and New Year scene in the game.
Yeah.
True. That does happen in the Christmas game. So you can argue that for 4, but actually not for 5. Not to say spoilers, but you don't really get it until Christmas.
Oh. Okay, now, yeah.
There we go. Got Santa Claus.
Whereas in 4, you do get a little get together with a pal.
Do-do-do-do-do.
And you have tissues.
Investigate Santa Claus.
Wait a minute. You're no Santa.
How'd you guess?
What are you doing in that outfit?
What are you talking about? That's it. Ugh, I'm quitting this job. It's too dangerous. Somebody's after me. I'm gonna end up dead, just like Gibson.
So you gotta keep a social distance. You still keep up with One Punch Man, Jihun?
Oh yes.
I have no idea what the hell is happening in the recent chapter.
Oh, he probably hit somebody with a punch.
Surprisingly, no.
I'm just glad things are happening again.
Yeah. I wonder if something else is gonna happen in Berserk.
New chapter in like a week for Berserk. We had a whole 3 chapters in 2020 for Berserk.
New record.
I just saw like a graphic showing like how many chapters per year for Berserk. And Hunter x Hunter.
Oh god, don't get me started with Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, we can fight that shit again.
Alright, I've had it. Don't call me anymore, okay?
Wait a minute, Napoleon. I'll keep any snatchers off your back.
They're after both of us. You better worry about watching your own back. Oh, by the way, here. A little Christmas present for you.
What? Tissues?
See ya. Merry Christmas.
So another Persona question for you, Andrew.
No surprise there.
shit, again?
He's got plenty of reason to be scared. Besides, I got the information I needed.
There's an advertisement on the back of that pack of tissues.
This is an ad for Outer Heaven. Just how many different jobs does that guy have?
Okay, continue. Carry on.
So Andrew, when you in the or Shin Megami Tensei 2, I guess, when you choose demons or persona, what do you prioritize a passive skill or attack skill?
Like which game?
Well, when I was playing Persona 4, there was like passive like ice boost or null wind and all that kind of stuff. And I think it gets crazier with the Persona 5.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fucking nuts. Cause like, I made it to the super duper dungeon in Royal, and I had my Yushitsune all kitted out. I had Kaguya, who's I think that's her name. She's was introduced in Persona 4 Golden as the final Marie social link.
Oh yeah, Kaguya, yeah, the Alien.
Yeah, so I got like both Bless Boost, Bless the magic ability, and then like her special. And that game also introduced Almighty Boost and Almighty Hand. So, like,
Yikes.
Almighty base. So yeah, passes are fucking nuts.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching some YouTube video of some guy playing he most of his Persona he only had 2 or 3 skills and everything else was passive.
Yeah, so I'd say that's the best way to build in 345 because you can change personas every turn. So you can always switch to the appropriate attack. So stacking as many like passive bonuses to each persona helps amplify their damage output. So yes, I would prioritize passives.
So, yeah, because when I was playing 4 Golden, I was like, I tried to make every person like jack of all trades using their like wind magic plus like fire and ice if I can.
Nah. I always have like a dedicated one for each element, and then like at least a good support dude. That's a good debilitate. I didn't get far enough, but I know that. Oh yeah, it's Chie. You didn't correct me earlier.
So yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, Chie gets Dragon Hustle.
The name you said was so far away from Chie, I didn't even know to correct you.
I think he said like Chisaki or something.
I said Chiaki. That's your friend in Nocturne. But anyway. And she gets Dragon Hustle, which is an all amp, like boost everybody.
Oh, and I couldn't even properly use the whole bike skill. So I was so fixated in getting the all social rank and then all that kind of stuff. I barely had a chance to do take a bike trip to get some skills.
The list of what was the really good ones, but Yusuke's is handy because his very first one. So I kind of have him be a good support. Confuse boost is really good with his Tentaro.
Which I never use.
Oh, but with Confuse boost, it's so reliable. Like, it almost always works.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he makes a very good support guy in random fights. Not so much boss fights. Kanji doesn't get anything good. Teddy doesn't get anything good. Chie gets Bufudine and Hamayo.
Yeah.
Not that interesting. You want her to be your physical character.
How did we get on this, like, hour-long Persona topic, by the way?
I don't know.
Why not?
I haven't been able to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, you can jump in anytime.
I don't want...
Because she gets my turn.
You want me to stop? I mean, you're just tapping on the button real fast. I can't even read.
You're talking to dogs and cats, damn it.
I don't know.
This is a Persona podcast with the gameplay of the Snatchers. Welcome to the show, guys.
I guess I did everything here.
Yukiko and Rise are the only really valuable.
What about Naoto? Because Naoto...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, if you do 2 bike rides, she gets the remaining 2 elements.
Right.
So you can make her an all-rounder. But, I mean, she's never going to be as good as anyone else. She's good with Bufudine, I guess, because she gets a frost, a boot, like a gun that boosts ice damage. I don't know, she's too much of an all-rounder.
I mean, that's good for the going to the dungeon.
Yes, so her and Yusuke I like having for dungeon crawls. Then Yukiko, Chie, and then either Kanji or Teddy are good for boss fights. Kanji and Teddy both get the power combat. Chie, especially Yukiko, she gets my charger just her physical and magic moves.
Yukiko... Oh, wait, for the...
Yeah, if you go 5 bicycle rides, she gets my charge.
So for Yukiko's social link skill is a the death one. I never threw that away. I kept it. It's so useful for me.
Snatchers cannot tolerate dogs.
I did actually get
It is improbable, but this is their skin cancer treatment center.
Looks like we barked up the wrong tree here. So, now we're back to square one, huh?
Don't become too discouraged. We still have many leads. Let's head back to the turbo cycle.
I'm glad we all got to hear that pun. Okay.
Olean Hospital.
Unfortunately, this wasn't the place.
You're right, Metal. Okay, let's go.
Wait, so you got the wrong hospital?
Yeah, so I think the answer is I go call my ex-wife. Yeah.
Gotta call your waifu.
So what I did with Naoto is make her like an almighty bot.
Oh,
She
mind
gets
charges
all
almighty.
invigorates, and you can give her chakra ring to have the cost.
I can see Kevin's face at this shore.
Oh,
Kevin's
super
face
derailed
is
here.
Kevin's like, oh, I cannot believe we're
Oh, Kanji gets Atom Smasher at 2 bike rides.
Kevin, I think I opened up the can of worm with this person. Shit.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'll just be over here in my haven't played a Persona game in like 20 years box.
Oh god, you never touched it.
Oh, for real?
Last one I played was 4 when it came out. I had never played it since.
Okay, cool. Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, Andrew. No,
Jesus.
I'm just kidding. No, I figured like I could ask. I figured this is a good topic, quote unquote.
Certainly don't help things. I get into the nitty-gritty number stuff.
Okay, we're gonna do a phone call, so I'm assuming this is gonna be a voice thing.
Yes.
What?
Bet I surprised you, huh? Don't worry, this is just a tape. I'm at work right now. If you need to reach me, please call Neo Kobe Pharmaceutical Labs at 391009. Sorry to scare you. Bye! Neo Kobe Pharmaceutical Labs, can I help you? Huh? Oh, it's you, Gillian. What's going on?
We lost Andrew.
Oh. Well, that's why it got all quiet.
Yeah, it's his internet. The giga burst from Cox. It's not doing well.
Giga Blast.
Oh, giga blast. Thank you.
I don't know it's actually more evocative between Blast or Burst, but in my opinion, I think it's Blast. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've worn this shirt on stream before. I should show it off. Let me back up.
Some Yakuza cat?
Yeah, it's a Yakuza cat. It's drawn by a guy who's like Mon Cats. He's a Japanese tattoo artist. It's
Wow.
he does really cool art. I bought this very expensive shirt.
How expensive are we talking?
I think okay, so it's normally $40, but I got it on a sale for like 30-ish, I think.
Okay. Man, but $40 for t-shirts?
Yeah, it's a bit much, but yeah, I got it on a sale.
Hey!
Oh my god, I'm alive again.
Hello! You got a Giga blasted right off into the sunset.
My Cox connection isn't doing me so well today.
Like, Cox is having some performance issue.
Oh. It's been a while since I've even like turned off my computer all the way. So I think that's like for update. How often do you update your computer? Because I actually have, I think Windows 10 Professional or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually able to not update if I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
It's like, you're gonna update.
That being said, I feel like it still does it every once in a while to me.
I mean, that shit is only issue.
I changed something in my permissions, so it doesn't, for me at least.
It was definitely an issue when you're working on some project and all of a sudden, oh, I'm sorry, you're working on a project? Who cares? I'm gonna update your computer. You better restart. It was annoying shit.
Okay, so I don't really feel like we got anything from that. What?
Oh, I have to pull up the guide again.
Oh.
Gillian, it's the emergency line from HQ.
Oh, okay, we're getting an emergency.
Gillian, I'm glad I got you. I got a call from Katrina. She said she has something she needs to give you.
Something to give me? What in the world?
She seemed really scared. Kept saying that Alice was barking.
When did she call?
About 30 minutes or so ago.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Gillian, we should hurry.
Yeah, Katrina's in trouble.
I remember this scene.
Is it disturbing?
No. It is a scene that was censored for this release.
Oh, okay.
Are we all uncensored?
No.
No. So what are everyone's thoughts on, like, when it comes to localizing, like, perhaps either censoring or, like, changing something? My mind is that you're
So-
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah.
So, in general, I understand it in some regards. I'd rather they didn't, but some examples I'm more willing to compromise on. The one that happened recently that I think is super egregious, though, is the Sharp FE one. With the
yeah, okay.
with the
now-
girl who's like a grabber model,
Yeah,
and like she's like a teenager, and in America they changed it to her just like being afraid of her having her picture taken or something, and it kind of just makes you go like, huh? In the American release. And then like that's the version that got like remastered or whatever.
Yeah, even the her actual outfit shows her cleavage, but like after they censored it, she wears like some kind of sports bra and it covers all that stuff.
Also, they took away her vagina bones. That's where that meme came from.
When I look at that, I never heard that.
I remember that meme.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is donuts are awesome. So, well,
donuts
are good in my mind.
Jellyfilled donuts.
Fuck yeah. But no, in general, I'd say I don't like altering the artist's intent.
Yeah.
For me, I can enjoy material even if the artist is a douchebag. The work I feel can stand on its own. That's why you can enjoy The Room despite Marceau being a jackass. So I don't like changing works.
I mean, I know this is gonna be super sensitive, especially some localization. Okay, so this is a bit of a cultural difference too, but like in Japanese, maybe there's no gender-specific pronouns, and then when they get translated, they have to make sure it's he or she, and then because sometimes they are spoiler, and if they can come up, if they try to work around that because of spoiler, all right, it's all, yeah, I'm all for it, but like they're because like sensitive of the whole gender issue, I'm like. Extra work right there.
When it comes to localizing based on the languages, there's always going to be some amount of loss of some of the material. Trying to get at least the intent across, though, I'd say, is important. So, in that regard, what do you think of when it's perhaps like a play on words or like a joke that would only make sense in the original language? And so, instead of having literal translation, they may instead use a different idiom or a different joke that implies the same kind of concept, even though it's not a literal translation.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That's like when you're reading like a fan translated like manga where it's like translators there. I hate that shit.
I mean, if it's done tastefully done, like it's like the guy knows what exactly joke is referring to, how it's done, and then he or she look up everything that's related to the current culture. That's kudos to that person. But if they cannot, I don't know. That's where it gets difficult. I mean, this is between the difference between the super professional translator versus a newbie who just copying and pasting into Google Translate.
Okay, so here's my thing. Given the type of games that we've been playing lately and are continuing to play, Sakura Wars, Snatcher, and Police Knots, we're playing the version of Snatcher where this has been removed, but all three give you the ability at any point in the game to interact with a woman's boobies. I fully support taking that out because it's incredibly creepy and I've never felt like compelled to do it.
Well, it's a choice. It's not something you have to do.
That's true, too.
That would be a virtue.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it shouldn't even be a choice, and like the fact that it's such a thing that I can comment and like grab somebody's body is just like really creepy to me, and I feel like it like reflects a little bit because like I view every option you're given as something as like the character you're playing as is thinking about.
Oh, I see.
Does that make sense? So I think in return, it ends up reflecting poorly on the main character.
So,
Say that, and not to take us back to a previous conversation, but Persona 3, you can be a total ass. And a lot of the conversation options. And I say that informs what that character can be in the hands of the player. Like, not necessarily like the best version of that character, but possible.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I too would really feel uncomfortable choosing those options, but I wouldn't feel terrible if they existed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't use them.
Like, it kind of makes me go like, oh, I'm playing one of these kinds of games. And, like, that's the thing, is I feel like it kind of lessens the... I don't know, the feeling from these games. Like, I feel like it kind of makes them a little bit icky.
You guys know the guy named Suda51?
I do.
Do you remember one of his games called Killer is Dead?
I've heard of it, I haven't played it.
There's a part where he's like, you're playing as a badass killer wielding a sword, and then there's a part of the game where like he's talking to a hostess, and there's a thing called Gigolo mode, and he's putting on some kind of X-ray sunglasses, shades, and he starts seeing the hostess underwear. So should that be taken out or no? When there was a localized, because that's a deeply implemented. That's a deeply part of gameplay.
What I would say is that it makes no sense. If they're X-ray specs, you should only be seeing bones. It's taking me out of the game entirely.
Yeah, there's the other thing that keeps getting brought up here, and I keep harping on, is like, I feel like there's a certain amount of like distance I can jump for something that is clearly like magical or fantasy, like, and in universe it just makes sense, right? But the thing is when they make something that is just on the border of being real or a real thing, but that's not how it works in reality, that's when it kind of makes me go like, I don't know about this. This is taking me out.
Star Wars, where I think
where they had a giant steam-powered computer. Yeah.
The just 1920 in Japan, dude.
Yeah, 1920 Japan steam-powered computer.
Ahead of their time. It's an alternate reality. So you got that and a Lucifer descending on the world. Yeah, in general, I'd say, like I said, because it's all art. I think, like I said, I want to appreciate art in the form it was intended to be appreciated. Like, you can have those things and be critical about them, critique them, as you can all art. As we've been doing, in fact.
Yeah. I think I need to just turn the volume down on my headphones because I feel overwhelmed by all the sound that I'm hearing.
Speaking of critiquing art, and then I guess the artists taking that into account, in Persona 5 Royal,
Jesus Christ!
they actually changed a little the scene. There's a fairly offensive gay stereotype characters.
Yeah.
I think I
They,
remember the topic coming up, yeah.
They toned them down a considerable amount, going from Persona 5 to Persona 5 Royal. I'm pretty sure that comes from, in general, not many people particularly caring for the joke as it was intended to be.
I'm trying to remember before I searched it, like what exactly the gangster thing was. Was it the tone? His skin tone or something? Now I don't know. Now it bothers me.
Yeah, I need help. I was about to ask.
So instructions are pretty much, when you first go inside, you investigate the shelf, the model, the backyard, you look at everything, and at the collar, investigate it. The study, you want to look at and investigate around the room. PC-68 and so forth. Look at it, investigate anything else. Calculate sneezes.
Oh.
No. I think I need to do more out here.
And you want to kind of look at and investigate pretty much everything. Calculate sneezes. Once he does, you want to call for Katrina now.
It wasn't a gangster, but the two homosexual people hitting on Ryuji.
Yep.
That was like overreacting based on the people's.
We can keep this conversation going. Not related to Persona, but in Catherine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yeah.
was so in the Japanese release of Catherine Fulbach, in one of the endings, was it Erica, right?
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
credited as Eric in that particular ending. And I'm pretty
Be-
sure in the localized version they changed that.
They basically made it so that I haven't played it, but my understanding was one of the endings was like a happy, idyllic ending where like a bunch of events didn't happen, and as a result, Erica never transitions.
Yes.
Oh really?
And so the happier outcome is the person who became Erica never became Erica. That's what it implies.
Oh okay.
Yeah, I remember there being a lot of people not happy.
Yeah.
That when that was revealed before it was translated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't actually see it. I saw the outrage.
So you want to call for Katrina and Alice anywhere but the study.
Oh. Okay.
Gillian, I read motion. Use extreme caution. The signal is coming from outside the window.
It's Alice!
The dog is dead. Body temperature suggests it was killed about 10 minutes ago. No doubt the work of Snatchers.
Scum! No reason to kill the poor animal. Katrina! Where's Katrina?
We can leave the cleanup here to the junk crews. We should look for Katrina.
Judging from the mess they made here, it looks like they were looking for something, were quite upset that they couldn't find it.
Perhaps that means that Katrina is still safe.
That's true. If they had her, there'd be no need to turn the place upside down like this.
Perhaps Katrina took whatever they were looking for and fled.
I bet you're right, Metal. We've got to find her before they do. Let's get back to the turbo cycle.
Sorry, where did you say we were going? I was like, ah.
Is anybody excited for the new Pokemon snap? And also them reusing the new moniker in games once again? Is this going to be a whole new thing they're going to be doing?
Wait, I didn't catch the second part of your question.
Maybe Pokemon Snap. Maybe I care.
Playing Pokemon Snap a shit ton, but I like printing out pictures at the Blockbuster.
Yes, I still have my card for doing that. I have a little card with like a chip on it.
So no stickers, no sale for the new one. Also $60.
Oh, you just have to. Well, with the power of digital transfer, you can print your own picture using an expensive ink.
No, clearly what we need is an attachment for a Switch that brings back the Game Boy camera.
Oh, yes. I played the shit out of the camera.
Yes.
What was that made for again? The Game Boy camera.
Game Boy.
It's just a camera, nothing, no game attached to it.
So it's a camera with lots of weird and fun games in it. It's like staring into someone's fucking nightmare. There's so many weird things in that game. And then they also have Game Boy printers, so you can print things from that, and a couple of other random ass games. Zelda DX, you can print the weird ass pictures Mouse Game would take in that game. The little camera makes me think of freaking Mario game. Like I would just take pictures of
Oh, that reminds me. Both of you had a 3DS, right?
Yeah.
Or DS? Did DS even have a camera? Okay.
The original did not.
No.
Okay.
The DSi did. Yes, that was a thing, if you don't remember.
I played it. I don't know. When I have some kind of toy like that, I just play with that. Like, take a photo with DS and 3DS and like doodle around it. I don't know. And I did with some other devices that have camera feature.
Game Boy camera, best camera.
16 bits or 34 bits, 32 bits.
Do 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 do.
Wait a sec. My lights are on. That's weird. I know I shut them off before I left.
Be careful. A snatcher may be in your apartment.
Searching the place, maybe? I don't have any evidence up there.
Alright, I think I know what this is.
We're talking about art. What are your thoughts on more or less like the death of I don't think they're gonna be coming back.
I never enjoyed movie theaters. Just gonna just put that one out there. I hate movie theaters.
My thoughts.
Honestly,
Oh, go ahead.
honestly, only people who enjoy movie theater is who take their dates to the movie theater for the most unpopular film and go into the back and do what.
I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Dragon Ball Broly,
I hear something.
and there's like a crying
This time
baby.
I can hear it
and,
too.
lots of people. I mean,
I read motion. Something is in there.
All right, Metal. Lock the front door. We're not letting anything out of here.
Enter bathroom. Oh, okay.
yeah, you gotta look around and do other stuff first. I'd say in general, they can sometimes be pretty fun as far as like being in a crowd that's like actually like engaged with the material.
Sure.
Despite the crying kid, just left after a certain point. But lots of people go like, oh, like ah.
I mean, I
Very
did
fun.
enjoy the moment when I was watching the Avengers, like Hulk scene or Thanos scene. I was like, oh yeah.
It's a movie that has like enraptures the audience. That can be a fun experience, but I think you can get that experience elsewhere too, not necessarily at a movie.
I'm by myself. How can I capture that emotion?
Okay, here we go.
I like watching movies on my own. You sculpt it up.
I'm in the shower.
Someone's using my shower.
Keep investigating it.
Now it's
I'll
just
open
a
the
porn.
blinds by
What are
altering
you
the
doing?
electrical polarity. Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Now opening the blinds.
Whoa!
You pervert! Get out of here!
I hope you learned your lesson, Gillian. You definitely had that coming to you.
Oh, yeah? Well, I didn't exactly see you close your eyes either.
That is because my optical sensors are not equipped with retractable shutters.
Oh, shut up. You know exactly what I mean.
Here comes Katrina.
I can't believe you did that, Gillian!
You see, I was just...
Face up to it like a man.
You shut up. I'm just glad that you're safe, Katrina.
I was so frightened. I just looked up your address and I let myself in. I'm sorry. Did I surprise you?
Surprise me? You bet you surprised me.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. By the way, how did you get in?
Hey, I'm the daughter of a junker. I can pick locks in my sleep.
I see. And you avoided the censors as well. You may have a promising career ahead of you. Ooh.
Whoa.
Okay. Go ahead, Jihun. Finish your sentence.
How is it that the moment I open my mouth, this cutscene happens? God, the timing is so...
Okay.
Very weird.
Yeah, no, you have a wife. Or ex-wife, at least.
Okay.
I think I see something through the towels.
Yeah.
We're still following up all of Gibson's leads.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, dude left us a huge, like, puzzle box to crack open.
Was he like not sharing any of this shit? Keeping it real close to his chest here.
I guess so.
How do they even import the chief properly from the explosive?
Okay, I'll ask about her age again.
You're in San Fran, right, Jihun?
Right.
Yeah, LA County estimates 1 in 3 people there have COVID. Or at least been
I
infected.
mean, LA is indeed congested as F.
Go a little further, but I've heard you may.
Oh yes, I'm sure it's working well. With herd immunity, I'm sure those people will survive. What about Florida? Nobody's wearing masks.
People not wearing the fucking
Yeah, in serious note, yeah, I do hear some news about how like ICU bed there's zero capacity right now because there's constant flow of patients.
What's the address of that hospital?
Yep.
CX District, PHC 77. The director is Chinese. Name, Chin Shu Oh.
Chin Shu Oh. He's probably a snatcher, too. So we finally found their nest.
Gillian, please be careful.
Don't worry, Katrina. You're safe now. They won't be coming after you.
Just to be on the safe side, we will have Kobe police take you into protective
Yeah,
custody.
Gillian, I'm sorry about the way I reacted in the shower. Maybe if your timing had been a little better, we might have...
Don't worry about it, Katrina. I think I needed a cold shower anyway.
I'm just so confused. I don't want to lose anybody else.
All right, let's go, Metal. We have to pay a visit to Queen's Hospital.
What's your neck, Kevin?
I was checking Twitch stuff, but yeah, we were doing the guy next thing.
Goodness. Are you guys big Star Wars fan?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched all the movies. The only ones I've ever rewatched were the originals.
Yeah.
Well, no, I brought that up because of the recent news regarding how EA is no longer the main producer of the Star Wars.
It was
I couldn't give less of a shit.
I forget the yeah, open world Star Wars game.
The only Star Wars thing that I've ever liked is the I don't even know what they are because I'm not a Star Wars person, but so maybe they're the Sith Lords? I don't know, but on the box for KOTOR 2, there's like characters that have like really cool like masks. It almost looks like a Japanese kabuki inspired.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. I never played those. The only one I've ever played through was Force Unleashed. Back on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, that's okay. Single player.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I think I rented it, so I had a couple of friends over. We each did like different endings. And I played through it, and he played through it. I honestly don't know why Star Wars is still a thing.
Like, the original trilogy was a pretty cool spectacle, you know, like for the time and stuff.
I
I
say
mean, it was
it's still
magical,
fun.
yeah.
They're, I mean, they've done more interesting things with the hero's journey concept with other properties, but for its time and still now, original trilogy is good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weak ending. Return of the Jedi, or is that it? Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
That movie kind of sucks. First part's good, but then everything with the stupid teddy bears is garbage.
Wow.
Too much teddy bears.
You know the funny thing? David Lynch, director of like Twin Peaks and Mulholland Drive and, you know, stuff like that, was tapped to maybe direct, I think it was Return of the Jedi. And
Oh my god.
could you fucking imagine?
I mean, you gotta realize, like, what
He
they've
wouldn't
done
have
with
been
Star Wars-
writing it though, but yeah.
There's like so much potential with just this weird alien universe with fucking weirdos and shit. They can do some crazy cool stuff with it.
Yeah, and I just don't feel like they explore any of it. They're too interested in retelling the same story over and over.
Yep. Just the concept of space wizards, so they have to show up in it. Ever watched The Mandalorian? I know apparently a lot of people like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. if
I mean, I've watched it, but I think
Yeah, I've been meaning to try it.
my understanding is that it's kind of like a western.
I mean, it is the basically TV version, space TV of that what's the classic samurai film, The Wolf and the Cub.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm a big like Akira Kurosawa like samurai films nut, and I haven't watched Wolf and Cub. That is what it's called, right? I'm not even sure.
Oh, it's the Lone Wolf and Cub. That's the
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing.
What
Like,
do you-
go ahead.
Oh, I mean, like, I was at the change the topic to finish off the topic.
Yeah, finish it.
So, this game, the way in which you interact is menu-based, primarily, and how you're interacting with the game world. You also have other types of games where, like, you control a character, and perhaps maybe you walk up to a thing, and then suddenly, if you get a reticule, you press a button to do a thing. Sometimes those selections are more limited, just like use them versus menu-based, where it's like, alright, look at thing, investigate area, interactive within this function this way. And then some games where like you just don't interact with anything because like everything's just clutter. You just shoot mans. And what is your preferred method of interacting in a game? It's like extreme large quantity of options. Like the way I just described it, where you have a lot of options with like in this one.
I have a game in mind that I don't know if anyone's ever really done it better. Gravity Gun in Half-Life 2.
Oh, yeah.
Gravity Gun's really fun.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I like how after a certain point you gain access to a supercharger that gains all your gear.
Yeah. Now, it's not appropriate for every game, but that's a damn good way to interact with, that.
Well, that's the thing with their new latest installment.
Yeah, Alex, so you just pick everything up with your hands.
Yes. I mean,
I was watching a video about them adding some kind of like fluid shader to like bottles of liquids and stuff. So when you pick up a beer bottle, like it's actually like the liquid inside it moves and it's like really realistic how it's portrayed. Like they really cared about like object quality in that game a whole lot.
Yeah, because so many VR games before that, it's like some of the objects are just there. You can't even interact. Even if you do interact, like it doesn't give you that satisfaction because it's not acting the way you want. And yet, Alex, they perfected that technology. So to answer my birds, there was a game called LA Noir, produced by Rockstar Games, the same company for the GTA. It's basically Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, but for GTA, basically. But you do walk around everywhere. You can, as a detective, you can pick up just about everything. Pick up everything and then investigate, which is sometimes it's kind of annoying because you don't know if you actually got the everything or you did get everything and you're just picking up random ass stuff. So I know the game in general should not babysit the players, but yeah, I think they should just limit a little bit, like limit the prompt for what you can interact.
So for me, I don't know why, like in video games, like completely different than I am in real life, where if I'm able to like hoard shit like crazy, I will go nuts. So like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, there's like so much clutter just everywhere. On PC, I download Bag of Holding mod, so I can just hold everything. So
There seems to be a scrap of paper caught between these two drawers. The others are empty. It appears that someone tried to straighten up in a hurry.
Let me see that paper.
Here it is.
What? What is
So, are you
this?
one of those
Looks
people
like
in a
Chinese
car
or something.
that
Metal
like all those
translated.
wheels of cheese?
Okay,
Fuck yeah.
let's see. Patient record, first examination. I'm not familiar with the next 5 characters. It's the first time I've ever seen any of them.
I thought you were supposed to be really good at Chinese.
My strongest areas are in chop suey, egg foo young, and wontons.
Rare Chinese characters. Or maybe some kind of code? At any rate, this is definitely part of someone's chart. If we can figure out these characters, we may be able to uncover another Snatcher.
What do you suppose happened to the other records?
Looks like someone cleaned them out of here. Maybe they knew we were coming.
Somehow I get the feeling that the Snatchers know what we're up to. I'll store the fragment of the file.
I was gonna actually use a Google Translate, see if it works.
Oh.
One Chinese guy in the game.
I can't pull up my possessions right now.
You can call people with Metal Gear now.
No, actually, I can't.
But I have to investigate. So this is something I brought up, I think it was before we even started streaming, about like mods or like expansions to games. I think like Fallout New Vegas is like one of my favoriteest games ever. And
It's
a lot
really
of it
good.
Just comes from like character customization and like how many options you have to like tackle more or less any objective in the game. Like I showed off for forever ago a playthrough where I killed one guy and then just talked my way through everything else. And that's a thing you could do in the game. So I like how open it is in that respect. And I really enjoyed the DLCs, even the one that most people hate. I feel like they take away all your gear. And it comes just from like how many options there are for how to tackle everything. So I'd love more of that, like more of that game. And I know there are like some fan expansion mods probably, but I haven't really tried any.
I can't think of... So I tend to not really play total conversion mods. Like I can't even think of an example of one that I played, but like I guess what I want is just like sequels to games that I already really enjoy. Like god damn, I want a real like Jet Set Radio and Future sequel. I want a Bushido Blade 2 sequel.
You gotta be careful with Monkey's Claw. It's like all the talent that was involved in that. If you ever bring them all up,
Yeah, I mean the person who did the soundtrack for Jet Set Radio is very active on Twitter. Don't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm on like I don't know about bringing the band back together, but like Sega's I feel like in a good place with their game division now, between like PSO2, Yakuza. Oh, actually, I saw a thread recently. It's probably the answer to your question for me. I want a Rainbow Edition of every Street Fighter game. I feel like every fighting game should have a player-made Rainbow Edition. If you don't know what that is, there was a Street Fighter 2 Rainbow Edition where basically you could, like, every character is edited so that they attack really quickly, they jump really high, they can fill the screen with fireballs. It's almost like playing a Marvel game, like a Marvel vs. Capcom, whatever. Like, Guile was set up to, like, every time he flash kicked, he also fired several sonic booms.
So it's basically called Nuts game.
Yeah. I feel like every fighting game should have a Rainbow Edition.
At least a rainbow mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Blaze Blue kind of has it, and Guilty Gear. They have versions of their characters that are, like, ridiculously overpowered that you can, like, buy in the in-game store using in-game currency, blah blah blah. Like, so once you've played the game a bunch, you can buy these characters, and they're, like, ridiculously overpowered versions of the cast. So that's kind of a thing you can do in that game.
I mean, if that's the case, I wish all the games had a Tekken mode. Instead of using heavy, light, medium, let me just use each limb.
Oh.
I don't know why, but I had a hard time getting used to controls of Skullgirls or Blaze Blue. I don't know why. I gave it a shot, but I had a hard time playing those two fighting games.
Huh. I mean, Blaze Blue is only 4 buttons.
I don't remember, like, are they... What about the Guilty Gear 2? Was it... Guilty Gear was a...
It's kind of 5 buttons, but really just 4 in Guilty Gear.
Until, like light, medium, heavy up there, right?
So it's light, medium, slash, and heavy slash.
I think my favorite fighting game is Dive Kick.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah. Oh, you just remember that game called Thunderbolt or Thunderstrike? It was a game made by a guy named Seth. Do you recall, Kevin?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, link it to me.
Yeah, give me a moment. This is gonna take a while to research.
You talking about Seth Killian? Because
Yeah,
I know
Seth
that guy.
Killian.
I know that guy's name, but I don't know games he's made.
Have you called up Napoleon?
That's what I'm about to do. I was just like, oh yeah, I should probably do that.
Rising Thunder.
Yeah, I know that one.
I played the demo of the game. Oh man, that had a potential.
I also played it. I didn't like it.
Why you gotta be against everything I say?
Well, I like normal fighting games, I guess. Did I get? Oh fuck! I gotta pay attention. I gotta memorize the number.
Service at this time. Please check the number and dial again. This is a recording. JT&T Neo Kobe.
It's 395644.
Thank you.
Got you.
The number you have reached is not in service at this time. Please check the number and dial again. This is a recording. JT&T Neo Kobe.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I would love. Okay. Okay. All right. Going back to games I'd like to see modded. Uh, Hitman. Um, I want a furry convention level for Hitman.
Hitman, I feel you can do so much with that game because it's just like throw you into a level, go nuts. Like,
Yeah.
whatever you got to do to kill this guy. You have so many ways of going about it.
Yeah, I want to play Hitman in a furry convention.
That means you have a place to hide right after you kill someone.
Like custom levels. So there's more extensions. They just really revealed Hitman 3?
Yeah, it's coming out pretty soon. I think.
That's true. Call.
I'm already getting like ads for it on like Steam and Epic Game Store and stuff. By the way, I grabbed the free Battlefront 2. I don't know if I'm ever gonna play it, but I have it.
I always see those free games that they barely download. Even $0 is enough to get me to play it.
Oh god.
Have a seat, Gillian. We're safer in a crowded place like this.
Jeez, you really had me fooled. 2 rolls in 1.
Gesundheit.
Well, you know, you gotta understand. Being an informer isn't exactly the safest job on the planet, you know. That's why it's important to be a master of disguise, like me.
Yeah, but I feel pretty stupid. I mean, all that time I was asking you about where Jean went, I didn't realize I was asking someone who actually worked there.
Hey, I was just as surprised as you were. But I didn't know that Gibson had been here. You see, I wasn't working that day.
Anyhow, it's not masquerade night today. Why don't you take that mask off, Napoleon? It's a little unnerving sitting here talking to a wolf.
All right. I suppose there's no harm there. Boy, you really work up a sweat in these full-face masks.
Oh, boy. Maybe you should have left that on.
What? Still, you did a nice job of figuring out who I was.
Come on, Napoleon. That stupid phone recording with the Wolfman? JT&T would never do anything that tasteless. Besides, what really tipped me off was that constant sneezing of yours.
Sneezes, eh? Well, listen, you want me to tell you why I'm called Napoleon?
Because winter gets the best of you. Napoleon Bonaparte sent his enormous army into Russia in 1812, but suffered a major defeat because of the snow.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, the sneezing isn't a cold. It's my allergy to Snow 9 pollen. So, anyhow, what did you want to know?
I've got a couple of questions to ask you.
Fire away.
I was playing this game, I think I would have given it a long time ago because like I noticed that you had to click one option before you can use the other option.
Yeah.
I will say
That's why I've just been mashing for it, you know. Not everything's important.
Like the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games, do you like those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like those are similar in concept. Where
Oh, you're right, because at first you start with objection. I don't know, is it objection or?
well, you have both the investigation parts of the game. You're kind of exploring the world, talking to people, getting information, and similar to this. But then you also have in-court battles where you're pressing certain conversation bits with things you've learned prior, or even in the character's testimony itself.
And I just remember, yeah, to hold it, you use the statement to hold it, and you present the evidence with the objection. Yeah, like you have to hold it like it's one statement, another one, and then yeah, that's. Well, at least for this game, there's no penalty. The game's like Ace Attorney, yeah, you get a penalty.
I like how in that game the penalty is the judge just gets tired of your shit and says you lose.
In lieu of me actually like looking up a periodic table, you want to just tell me what to put in?
It's BENSON.
That's what I thought it was, but I wanted to make sure.
Benson.
So that's it. Benson. Beryllium is Be, nitrogen is N, sulfur is S, and oxygen is O. And another N makes Benson. The name Benson was encoded on this file.
Benson. I sure hope it is not referring to the chief, Benson Cunningham.
Or to our friendly engineer, Mr. Harry Benson.
Huh?
No, that couldn't be. No way.
But the possibility, though remote, does exist.
Metal, I want you to cut off all your data transmissions to
Google
headquarters
Translate.
now.
Understood. Now disabling automatic transmission routines. Done. No further data transmissions to headquarters will be executed.
My God. A Snatcher in Junker headquarters? We've got to get there quick. Let's go, Metal.
See you later, Junker. Today's little information tidbit is on me. Now take care, Gillian. Don't get yourself taken out by some snatcher. I think I'll lay low for a while. You know, after all, you are my main source of income.
You be careful too, Napoleon. You get killed and you won't be able to sneeze anymore.
What's that supposed to mean?
See you, Napoleon. Metal, let's go.
So yeah, I use the Google Translate. Yeah, it also translates to like chemical compound.
Okay. So it was accurate.
Yeah, superiors I'm not really too sure about, but I've had a couple workplaces like that.
Context phrasing.
Okay, so let's go to the chief's office. He's got a book on the desk. Picture.
Yeah, touch everything. I'm sure he won't be mad.
Oh, I think the vase is like a hint for that room in the hospital, maybe? It's weird not having like a shitload of options. Like there were things that I wanted to look at, but I couldn't.
Yeah, the book wasn't even an option.
Jillian doesn't give a shit about it.
Alright, time to look at the picture. Maybe that's a hint.
Phase 2.
I've suddenly remembered more about this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I forgot about this part, and then like it started coming back to me. Imposter's face don't mean anything then. Looking at all the photos one more time.
You just gotta look at and investigate the stuff.
Computer room. Use Jordan.
Computer room that's not powered by Steam.
Right. It's powered by
Cyberpunk.
So it's full of bugs then.
Oh no. Whoa, wait a sec. He was also in Foxhound. What? Foxhound.
Snake! What's the meaning of this? Snake!
That's a cute little Easter egg, especially because there were only 2 Metal Gear games before this, so it was like barely a thing. And by that, of course, I mean the original Metal Gear games, not Solid.
Yeah, some people don't realize Metal Gear existed before Metal Gear Solid.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my another friend that was playing Metal Gear Solid at the time, he got mad at me for explaining that. So what it was is that he was playing the Metal Gear Solid, and I was, oh, this is a cool game, man. I don't know, maybe it's the way he worded it, but he was saying like, yeah, this is the first one in the series, and I was. Shit, I forgot how exactly it was. This was like 20 years ago when I was like 13 or 14 years old. And the way he worded it, yeah, he did mention Metal Gear, and this is Metal Gear Solid. And I was like, so this is a sequel to Metal Gear. No, this is a Metal Gear Solid. It's a new one. I don't get it. Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember exact conversation, but there was a definite communication error between me and that guy.
Right, maybe a detective ring.
Do you think like game series should have like a running narrative, or just like kind of winks and nods between them? Like technically the entire Metal Gear series does have an overall narrative. Like the individual stories end with their individual needs.
But at the same time, it's all in one timeline.
Things that, characters and things, events that happen in other games can show up and be relevant in later stories too.
I mean, it's basically Dragon Quest versus, Metal Gear, or
versus, like game series like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, and the like, how each game is its own game. Maybe with wins, narrative consequences.
also a Yakuza game, because technically they're connected by the timeline, but
do those have like recurring characters?
yes. So some people are like, who is this? And they're like, oh, that's why Face to Face means. Some character comes out of nowhere, like hardcore fans know who that person is. Oh crap! Oh shit, it's that guy. But the new gamer, like new players, like, who the hell is this guy?
There's supposed to be a face in that picture.
You don't see it?
It's a vase, and the negative space is two faces. It's a common like optical illusion you might have seen as like a kid.
I can't even see it. First time in Foxhound.
Oh yeah, Foxhound. Big boss.
Moscow, Russia. A lot of good that did me. Now I'll do it.
Okay, now do you see the two faces?
Oh, I left the screen really fast. I'm sorry. Even if you can't see it like in like the pixel art of the game because it's really far away and stuff, it's a really common optical illusion.
Yes, I sort of saw what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think she'll have anything more to say, so... Enter Turbo Cycle?
I like that phrase alone as a game title. Enter the turbo cycle.
Gillian, it's me, Jamie. Listen carefully. You know that Queen's Hospital? I found out that they undertook a major expansion project in 2035 to put in a basement. That's right, they have a basement. Basement construction is really unusual here in Neo Kobe. That's why there were still records of it. But there's more. The director of that hospital, Shin-Shu Ho, has had his license suspended in the past for performing eugenics experiments at an illicit underground facility.
Are you telling me Queens has underground treatment facilities?
That has to be it, Gillian. Shin-Shu Ho is performing skin operations on Snatchers underground.
And that means that Chin himself is also probably a Snatcher. Or rather, the real Chin, the original Chin, was snatched.
So, that entire ground-level complex is just a front for the underground facilities.
And if we hit that hospital, we can ruin the Snatcher's plans. Well, this is it, Metal. We're heading right into the enemy's headquarters this time.
Gillian?
Yeah?
This sounds really dangerous. I just wanted you to know, I want you to come home safe.
Jamie.
The reason I left you is because I thought you were pushing yourself too hard, being self-destructive. And it seemed like the wedding ring you were wearing when they found us had become a tremendous burden on you. I didn't want that to be the only reason we stayed together.
Oh, Jamie, I never felt that way at all.
I'll be waiting for you. We may not have our memories, but you are the only one I've ever shared any time with. Be careful, Gillian.
Jamie.
Are you all right, Gillian?
Yeah. All right, Metal, let's go. We have to pay a visit to Queen's Hospital. Her Majesty is waiting.
Whee!
Just where do you think you're going?
This is most unusual. The turbo cycle seems to be out of control.
Switch over to manual.
I
I'll take
remember
over.
this.
Understood. I've switched to manual control. Well, how is it?
What the? We've got no brakes! Metal, check the brake system out. Pronto!
Sorry, Gillian. Looks like sabotage. No doubt the Snatcher's handiwork.
Sabotage? But the only one who could work on the turbo cycle...
Worry about that later. Gillian, we've got to do something quickly.
And a good morning to you, my friend. Bud Miller with you here on the big 90.7. Looks like we're gonna have a bright...
Gillian's face changes. It looks so out of his character to me.
I like the animated faces. Yeah.
We stand an agnostic Gillian. What?
Oh,
It's a fourth wall breaking right there.
Damn. What else can we do? Metal, start punching buttons.
Any buttons at
I mean,
all?
the control panel.
Yes, push anything.
Oh,
Gillian, this doesn't seem to be doing any good.
Damn, I was sure that would work.
Gillian, the road makes a sharp right turn just 1,500 meters ahead. At this speed, we'll never make it. Gillian! Gillian!
Hey, Gillian! Huh? Over here! What's that? Gillian, over here! Random! Gillian, you gotta jump over
Random.
my bike! Hurry!
800 meters until we reach the curve.
Metal, you go first!
What? Not again.
Move your butt! That curve's just ahead!
Understood. 1, 2, 3!
All right, Gillian, now it's your turn. Keep her steady.
300 meters until you reach the curve.
Gillian, jump! I can't! My timing's off!
150 meters.
Gillian, now!
70 meters.
Now, Gillian, now!
Oh, we're too late!
and they die.
Gillian! I guess he didn't make it. Don't bury me so fast. I'm right here. Don't you even know how to ride a motorcycle?
I like the developer
Gillian,
logos
it's
in the
not much
background.
farther to Queen's
Subtle.
Hospital, and you could probably use the exercise anyway.
Oh,
Why don't
I
we
didn't
just
notice
continue
that.
the rest of the way
Nice.
like this?
Now where's the Hideo
We've
Kojima
arrived
logo?
at Queen's Hospital.
So, this is the place, huh? Random, are you sure you know what you're doing? This isn't going to be a field trip, you know. We may not come back.
And the bounty for this one will more than make up for it.
If you're around to spend it, that is.
Gillian, let's get going.
apparently leads down to a lower level.
It looks like Jamie was right. Queen's Hospital does have a basement.
And that basement is the Snatcher's main lair. Out of the frying pan and into the fire, as they say. Well, what do we do now, Gillian?
First floor basement.
It's a very narrow stairway. We'll have to go down single file.
Okay, who's going to take the point?
That's obvious. The guy with the light.
Hey, that's not fair!
Why don't either of these guys have a flashlight for the kind of work they do?
Well, well, what do we have here?
It's the hospital corridor.
Like, a
It's the
flashlight's
same
always in
hallway,
your kid,
but
right?
Not the one that's on the
But
first
it's in your
floor.
pocket.
So
Yeah.
what does that mean?
An entire
Have a
floor of
little
Queen's
belt
Hospital
buckle
has been
about.
duplicated underground.
So the
Don't you carry,
same
like,
floor
all
is
the
both
belts?
upstairs and downstairs. Sort of like
Yeah.
parallel worlds.
So that
Can't carry
desolate
your dead
setup
pocket.
upstairs is all just a smokescreen. They're making it look like the place is closed down, but in reality, they're keeping themselves quite busy.
Gillian, that means we're already right in the middle of their headquarters. Please use extreme caution.
So now it's all quiet here. Don't you have some, like, Persona stuff to talk about?
I thought you wanted to stop talking about it.
I can talk about Persona forever. So speaking of like artist intent and stuff, Persona 3 has 3 versions of the story.
I wish there was, like, a game that, like, combined them all into one. Kinda.
It's Persona. Oh wait, no, all the dancing games were separate.
Like, no, like, all the Persona 3 games.
Oh.
Like, I wish there was just the best of everything, put it all together version of the game.
Well, you can expect that from Persona 6.
Basically, I want to be able to play Persona 3 Fez with the female main character.
I mean, Persona 3 Portable is basically that. You just don't have the answer, which sucks. Anyways, who cares? Episode H's.
Well, in Portable, there was, like, a lot of concessions that had to be made, like, like to put it on the PSP?
Oh yeah, they're like, what is it? For example, Tartarus, in the original version it was full 3D, but they changed to like 2D with the sprite or something like that.
No, it's like your cursor.
Yeah.
The only area where you have actual gameplay where you move your character is in Tartarus. And I think a couple of the random outside of Tartarus dungeons.
You know what game I kind of want to add to the list to play again? Jesus. Well, we should do that around Easter again.
Oh, you mean that Jesus game with the Wii controller?
No. It's a game for the Famicom. Wasn't released in America, but there's a fan translation. Jesus, the Tale of the Dreadful Biomonster.
Yeah, I can see why it was not released in North America.
I see eyeballs.
Oh,
Yeah, these
reference.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still on Earth. We're just in the far-flung future. When was Frankenstein written? Like the 1700s or something?
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah, really long time ago, right? So like, what they survived that long? Why not have, you know, a few more decades or 100 years or something?
1818.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the ambiance of these rooms down here remind me a lot of Jesus. That's a sentence.
Hell yeah.
There's just like a lot of weird like bleeps and bloops that made up the backing track. Like I remember one room just like had like this high pitch like beep 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 beep, beep sound. It was just, like awful, and you were like trying to talk me through it. And I was like, no way, I can't do this. Hold on, let me leave the room. Okay, now let's talk. You know. I will say, I like this game's inclusion of, like, a robot that's, like, that is, like, able to tell you, like, all these scientific facts. It gets really weird in Police Knots, where, like, every character you meet, every NPC has, like, a college-level idea of, like, everything around them, down to, like, the type of clothing they wear to, you know, because they have to wear different clothes in space, like, all these, like, various subjects they just know everything about, because the game has to tell you about how things work in the future.
They're just all, like, really good Trivial Pursuit players. Like, they, like, know a little bit of everything. Just one of them with one.
Oh. But yeah, I was thinking like, okay, I flip switch 1 up. I go in door 1. I flip switch 2 up. So both switches are up, so I go in 2. Leave 2. Come back. Put switch 1 down, so only 2 is up. That would open door 3, but that's not the case.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's what you're going for, one of those puzzles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you look at and investigate everything. I don't know if you missed anything.
Hey, why is there a skeleton in the investigate? I don't see it.
Oh! Oh! Yeah, okay, I looked at skeleton like that, but I didn't investigate it. I'll do that.
Oh, okay, now.
Spooky!
Whoa! Spooky skeleton. Terminator!
I was just like, the whole screen is his head.
Did I get it?
The Snatcher's functions have been terminated.
Easy
There's
mode,
no
baby.
doubt now that this is their maintenance
Well, no,
facility.
it wanted
This
me to
one
shoot
is
the top
probably still
square.
waiting to get its artificial skin installed.
So this is what they really look like, huh? Yeah, that's the scariest thing about them. You can't tell them from real people once they've got that skin on. Perhaps that's humanity's great weakness. We're always judging books by their cover.
And it's just that human weakness that they're out to take advantage of.
All right, Random. Metal, let's go. The HQ's junk squad can take care of him later. We've got an investigation to
Team
do.
just got philosophical.
They said terminated. Sorry if you missed it, I kind of scrolled it fast.
Terminated.
I don't know why, but the sound effect when he made when he was shooting, it sounded like Dragon Ball sound effect.
Yeah, it kind of does. When they fire like the same kind of looking projectiles too, just like little pellets.
Yep.
Alright, so you should be able to go through 3 now.
Oh, use 1 and 2 at the
Alright,
same time.
Let's try pushing both buttons simultaneously.
The two buttons are on opposite panels, so there's no way one person can push them both alone. But if two of us work together, it might do it.
That's it, Gillian. It makes perfect sense. It's the same system they used to use in nuclear missile silos in the late 20th century. Eliminates the risk of one man going nuts and acting alone.
Well, it's hard to be sure, but let's give it a try anyway. I've got button 1. Random, you push number 2. You ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Come on!
You did it! Door number 3 opened.
With safety measures like that, they must have had a good reason for wanting to keep it closed.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't have to play that exact mini game.
They expanded that in 7 Remake.
Oh god. Oh yeah.
Good God!
I read 4 human skeletons in this room.
It's their morgue.
Perhaps victims of the Snatchers?
That is disgusting.
Well, it doesn't look like whoever put them here was too worried about making sure they would rest in peace.
No, it doesn't. These have got to be their victims.
This is probably where they hide the bodies of the originals they snatched from places like Outer Heaven.
They probably picked Outer Heaven because it gets a lot of VIP traffic. Plus, during masquerade time, they could work the place and still keep their identities secret.
Yeah, and the guy who set up the link between them and Outer Heaven was Freddy, that taxi driver. They must have gone after him not because of who he was, but what he did. After all, with a taxi, there's plenty of chances to milk your customers for information. That's probably how they learned about Outer Heaven and Plato's Cavern.
I've been wondering what they had done with the bodies.
Want to hide a book? What better place than the library? Need to hide a body? How about the morgue?
And for them, keeping the bodies hidden is crucial. I mean, if somebody who's supposed to be dead is out walking the streets, it wouldn't be too hard to figure out that something screwy is going on.
That means that if we can figure out who these bodies were, then we've just nailed 4 Snatchers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just keep looking at it.
You just can't stop looking, huh?
Let's smell it. Let's smell it again. Andrew, I have a question. Is this a thing you deal with?
I have done it 3 times, and yes, it is a thing.
And this is a true thing?
Yeah. I don't know the exact life cycles, but based on the insects, larvas and stuff, you can make that kind of determination. Helps snare every time of day.
Oh, good. Okay, reconstruct corpse.
Now performing simulated reconstruction of the head and facial features of each of the 4 victims. Commencing with victim number 1. Now performing craniometric analysis. X-ray and sagittal X-ray, magnetic resonance imaging, and positron CT data gathered. Complete cranial data now being compiled. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction. First, victim's age. Estimate based on 1. Presence or absence of cranial fontanelles and chroma of epicranial sutures. 2. Area of facial region and cranium. 3. Height of upper and lower jaw and development of alveolar part. And 4. Location of cranial center of gravity. Next, victim's sex. Estimate based on 1. Overall size of cranium. 2. Parietal bone angle. And 3. Development of splachno-cranium. Lastly, victim's race. Estimate based on 1. Overall cranial configuration. 2. Volume of intercranial cavity. And 3. Mass of the skull.
I'm trying to
Now
remember his
commencing
name.
soft
I only
feature
played a demo
reconstruction
of that
based on
game, but
average
that
results
was
of
the
above
coolest
analysis.
aspect of that game, that character.
Reconstructing.
Entire game of that.
Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's
The
race.
funny thing is
10%
I
based
had
on
the
use
direct
of average
opposite
values.
opinion. I felt like
Now
he was
adding
the worst part
postulated
of
hair
that
and
game.
eye features.
Are you saying that
Reconstruction
it's
of head of first victim
gameplay or
completed.
character?
It's Freddie Nielsen.
Gameplay.
Moving on to second victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 2. Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous
We'll play
reconstruction.
Heavy Rain sometime. I have
Craniometric
it on
analysis
PC.
complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase
That's
completed.
what he says.
Margin of error on estimate of
Sean,
victim's race
his two
10%
sons.
based
Oh,
on use
Sean,
of average
Sean.
values.
Well, there's two
Now adding
sons, yeah.
postulated hair and eye
Yeah, but
features.
it's the Sean one.
Reconstruction of head of second victim completed.
That's Lisa Nielsen.
Moving on to third victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of
Okay,
victim
can we,
number
like,
3. Now
with it?
starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of third victim completed.
Who in the world is that? That's the director of Queen's Hospital, Shin Fui, what's his face,
Chin Shu O Gillian. Moving on to last victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 4.
This one's the most recent. It's still decomposing.
Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of final victim completed.
It's the Chief!
What?
The Chief is a Snatcher! The Benson on the scrap of that patient record was Benson Cunningham.
Judging from the condition of the body, I would estimate that the snatching took place approximately 1 month ago.
So it was the Chief who sabotaged our turbo cycle. In those matches we found in Harry's room, the Chief must have put them there to try to set him up.
No doubt Harry figured it out and decided to leave that face-to-face message. Wait a minute. Didn't Mika say that Harry had left to go find the Chief?
That's right. He was probably trying to track down some evidence on the Chief.
Gillian, I'd say that this Harry has put himself in a pretty dangerous spot.
If it was the Chief that sabotaged the turbo cycle, doesn't that mean that he already knows we're onto him?
Damn! Harry and Mika are in danger!
That's far enough, Junker. Your little investigation is over.
It's them!
Who? Snatchers? Get them!
My arm! I can't reach my blaster! I'm hitting the leg!
Is that the best you can do, Junker?
Who's there? Jin Shuo, you scum!
It seems you still have some fight left in you. You two are finished, but our plans move forward. We are now entering phase 2. And when we do, not only this city, but the entire world will be ours to command.
Phase 2? What are you talking about?
As you know, our operations have been hindered up to now by the flaws in our artificial skin. The skin's shortcomings have kept us away from ultraviolet rays, forcing us to do our work at night, underground, or in the winter. In the end, we had to construct a hospital like this, all because of the flaws in our artificial skin. This was the only difference between us and you humans. But now we have broken this barrier.
Huh?
We are on the verge of developing a perfect artificial skin, thanks to the cooperation of a new partner in our plan.
Perfect artificial skin? A new partner?
Once we have the new skin, nothing will be able to stop us. And with that, our plan moves to phase 2. Our little experiment in this city will end, and we'll move in force to take over the world.
Don't be so sure. You won't get out of the city that easy.
You humans are always so overconfident, so naive.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're aware that the Kyoto Summit, being held to decide how to handle the Snatcher problem, opens tomorrow.
Metal, is that right?
Yes. Countries around the world are concerned about the Snatcher problem. It will be one of the main topics discussed at this year's summit.
That's right. Tomorrow, we attack the summit.
You must be crazy. The security there will be incredible. You won't even get close.
Must I explain everything to you, Junker? Aren't you even aware that a fellow Junker will be giving a special presentation at the summit?
The Chief! Cunningham! So that's why you snatched him.
We've known that your chief would be speaking at the summit for over 3 months now.
Gillian, the summit is tomorrow. We have to hurry.
Listen, we have your chief. You Junkers are at our mercy, and so is this city. And tomorrow, we move on the world. Nothing can stop us now. We will finally achieve our long-awaited goal of global domination.
Who is this we you keep talking about?
We are an evolved life form, given life in the depths of the Kremlin by our creator, Modnar. We are a new race.
Modnar?
Modnar? The Kremlin? Those names are familiar, but...
Our goal is to snatch all of the world's leaders and then achieve total control of human thought and worldwide racial unification.
You're insane. Humanity won't be so easily dominated. You underestimate the strength of the human spirit.
I think not. In the same way as the Nazis, our strategy begins with the overpowering of the spirit of the people. We will strike at you humans' weakest point, the most primitive part of your psychological makeup.
Why does this keep coming up?
Suspiciousness and fear. By provoking suspicion and mistrust throughout the populace, we will destroy that fragile fabric which holds your society together, that of trust. Fear is you humans' weak point. It is the primitive part of your brains that binds you forever to your animal ancestors and makes you vulnerable. By stimulating that part of your atavistic instincts, our plan can succeed magnificently.
Gillian, at this rate, they'll kill us all. You've got to get out alive. You're a junker.
Just what have you have in mind?
I've got a big fireworks show ready for them. Better that than get snatched.
What? You're gonna blow yourself up? No, we're better off fighting together.
Hey, it won't work. I'm hit in the thigh. Ow, oh, damn. A bounty hunter can't do anything with a leg wound like this. I might as well have been shot in the head.
Well, there must be some way out of here.
Hey, I wasn't doing this job just for fun. I stayed ready for situations like this. I've always been prepared to go out with a bang.
It's December. A little late for fireworks.
So it'll be an off-season show.
No, I can't let you.
My belt's packed with TNT PX. You know, that really strong stuff they use in the mines on Mars? One push, and this whole hospital will go. No trouble at all. No time to sit around thinking, Junker Boy. Go! What are you doing? Get your butt moving, you fool! Get out through this air shaft. I've got a powerful strobe on me. Its flash will screw up their sensors long enough for you to get out. Now, you with me? Fireworks are better from a distance anyway, Gillian.
Are you two finished chatting? Then I think it's time for you to die. We're quite busy, you know.
You ready? When I give the signal, break into the air shaft and run, and don't forget your blaster.
Metal, stay with me.
Yes, sir.
Random.
Gillian! Doesn't look like I'm gonna have a chance to call in that debt you owe me.
Don't worry. I'll pay it back to the Snatchers with interest.
All right, go! Run, Gillian!
Metal, are you okay? Metal, something broken?
Language circuits have been damaged somewhat.
What happened?
Random blew himself up after getting us into this air shaft.
Random.
That's a hot mix right there.
Gillian, that explosion should have taken all of Queen's Hospital with it.
The thick walls of this duct must have shielded us from enough of the blast. If it wasn't for Random, we wouldn't have made it. Oh, Random.
Gillian, we have no time for grief now. We must get back to Junker headquarters as quickly as possible. Harry and Mika are in danger.
You're right. And I have to keep my promise to Random. But first, we have to figure out how to get out of here.
I can't see a thing. What should we do?
Oh, if you could say you want to save soon. Oh, you're doing it as I say it.
Yeah.
That was I want to comment during it, but I didn't want to interrupt it. But yeah, that guy was explaining just about everything, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really giving us the whole Bond villain thing, wasn't he?
You get the villain monologue.
Like, hey, can I just ask you what your plan is? Sure, let me tell you everything about the plan.
I will say, narratively speaking, that's kind of like pretty kind of weak. Like that.
This whole story has been full of like writers' crutches. I feel like we have the amnesiac main character. We have a robot sidekick who can explain everything for him. We have the Bond villain. You know.
I mean, as far as having like this weird world that's different than ours, having either a plucky character who's new to everything or amnesiac in this case, is that helpful? It is a bit of a crutch, but it is helpful insofar as having characters explain things to him and therefore explain to us.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to add, amnesia character is a perfect way to introduce.
Yeah.
Like another way of doing.
I will say, I really enjoyed how Police Knots did that. The thing is that they're missing the robot that explains everything, so all the other NPCs in the game have to pick up the weight. But Police Knots cool because instead of an amnesiac, you have a guy who has like a 25-year gap in his life. I don't remember.
I actually don't remember anything about that game. I know you're in space.
Well, he got like disconnected and lost out in space for like several years in cryosleep.
Oh, okay. Or you can just do what's popular in Japan right now. Just straight up go to isekai. And you have no idea what's going on.
It's like Isekai Uncle. Gets hit by a truck, he's in a coma for 10 years, and then when he wakes up, turns out he was in another world the whole time.
Oh, Andrew, did you ever have a chance to read Chainsaw Man?
I have not. So my understanding is like what's finished is part 1.
Correct.
There's gonna be a part 2. I'll read it. Actually, I haven't like read anything to completion. Like a lot of the shit I read is like still ongoing. One that I liked. Girl raised by the death god holds a sort of darkness in her arms. I don't like these titles that are really long. That is not Isekai.
Yeah, the controls aren't very, like, they're not very responsive, like there's input lag, or like, beats inputs. Ah, Jesus! Okay. Okay.
Hope you saved your game.
Yeah, I did.
I know.
The problem is it stuns you when you get hit. Yeah. All I'll say about that is Dark Souls at least doesn't need your inputs. At least not to my knowledge.
Oh. Well, the thing with Dark Souls is like when your character starts an action.
Yeah. Yeah, if you start getting hit, it's pretty much game over from that. Because they stun you and then like more get to hit you and they can stun lock you. This is fucking hard. I don't remember having this much of a problem.
Get good.
Maybe lower the slow the frame rate.
Oh, no, we're not. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, he got good.
All right. Glad you took our advice, Kevin.
Yeah, got it. Message received. Yeah, they were like 99% of the game is menus, so we don't need to make the controls good. Like, it's okay if we eat inputs, but on the dialing a numbers screen, it's really bad, and in combat, it's really bad.
I feel like there's other games like that, now that you mention, like main gameplay, something like this, and also
We're using smartphones now, so like, what is keypad?
What in the world?
This is part of the tube liner, the city's long-abandoned subway system.
You mean Queen's Hospital and this were connected?
Yes, it would appear that the Snatchers were using this to move from place to place. This would provide them with the perfect way to move about while still avoiding the ultraviolet rays they hate so much. We should have realized this sooner. The city is crisscrossed by the tube liner's old lines, and since they are abandoned, the Snatchers could move undetected as well.
Aha! That's how those two we caught a glimpse of at the abandoned factory where Gibson was killed were able to disappear so quickly. They must have used this subway.
That would appear to be correct. The tube liner passes underneath that factory site as well. That would also explain why sand from the factory was in the air duct at the hospital.
So this is the trick they were using to stay out of the sun and avoid being seen while they moved around.
Now we know why it took so long to uncover them.
All right, let's follow the subway. We should be able to get out when we get to the nearest station.
I'm grateful that it is actually matched up with his footsteps.
What? Would it drive you nuts if it wasn't?
Jihun, it's me. A lot of things drive me nuts.
Remind me of the time that I made a joke about you being sensitive.
I suggest not that you don't drive your nuts.
Look, metal, light!
Yes, but this doesn't look like a station.
There's a ladder.
Where do you suppose it leads, Gillian?
I don't have the slightest, but let's climb it and see.
All right, now climbing the ladder.
Now climbing the ladder.
We seem to have emerged into an odd place. Wait, this room.
What the?
It's Freddie Nielsen's bathroom. He was using this shaft from the bathtub to get down into the subway. So that's how he did that.
Ah, yes. As I recall, after you disposed of Lisa, he somehow entered the apartment without using the regular entrance.
Which he accomplished by using this secret passage into his bathtub.
The bathtub must be of a double construction. The bottom is actually a lid. When they wanted to hide the passage, all they needed to do was fill the tub. And to get in and out, they would just drain the water into another tank.
Jeez. Double bottom bathtubs? Abandoned subways? Snatchers really go out of their way to stay out of the sun.
Okay, Gillian, let's head outside.
Wait, does this mean Snatchers are vampires all along?
Well, they can't see out in the sun. Looks like the guy talking too much is gonna be his undoing. Whoopsie.
Question, you guys want to cut it off here? It sounds like Andrew's getting tired.
Yeah, I'm like... It's bedtime.
Okay.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
There's not too much game left.
There was a long cutscene at the end, yeah.
Hour-long cutscene.
Yeah.
And we just spent our time, I don't know how long, but like, yeah, just listening to villain talk, narrating, monologuing.
Especially one of it when they literally laugh.
So how are you enjoying it so far, Jihun?
It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Cool, cool. It's a very pretty game.
I like this overall like cyberpunk noir kind of feel to it. Fun. Are you checking to see if it's saved right?
Oh,
There's just what it comes up. Yeah. Yeah, between now and next stream, which I guess is tomorrow night, is that what you wanted to do, Andrew?
Yeah, let's knock it out.
Okay. Jihun, will you be around?
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll make sure everything is cool. Because I think the fact that you see this means I have a pretty complicated setup that I did on accident.
Yeah, just test run like 10 or 20 minutes before the actual stream.
Yeah.
And then if your if the save file is missing, just speed run to this point then.
Yeah. Yeah, because I basically what I got was like a list of different files that is just like, here's the beginning of chapter 1, like the very first time you save. Here's like 15 minutes after that, 15 minutes after that, 15 minutes after that, act 2, and then so it's like different
Pretty nice.
times in each chapter. So yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, I guess that's all she wrote. See you again tomorrow for more cyberpunk adventures.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.